Hey guys, it's Nick with Chestnut Hills Farmstead. We've got a beautiful day today. The temperature is a little cooler. It's a lot different in August when you see the temperature going to be 90, but it says it's going to feel like 88. We got a breeze blowing, so I apologize if you're hearing that. But we've got to show you some things that happened over the weekend. There's the alpaca fence. See, it didn't do the wires any favor. And if you can see, we've got some damage to the goat fence, and then their shelter was flipped out of here. Let me back up some. The shelter was there where their pool is, and it flipped it out there, but it drug it down that fence. So we've got some repair to do there. It pulled it down that T-post. I don't know if you can see it on the video good, but we've definitely got some damage to work on. You can see the tarps over there on the goat hut are loose. That's where we nailed those down until we got the metal on. And they've been doing pretty well until this most recent storm. Now what we're dealing with is very minor in comparison. This is stuff that happened in the storm on Saturday night. We came out yesterday after church to feed, got the alpacas moved in with the male goats just to give them shelter. They actually stayed inside their fence after the storm Saturday, but they didn't have a shelter. It had gotten torn up, so we made sure we got them in with the male goats, just where they would have somewhere to get out of the weather. And then last night, the same areas in Selma that got hit by the tornado in January of 23, if you'll remember, that's Jason and Brooks' hometown, and that's the tornado that his grandfather experienced some damage from. Well, that area got hit with straight line winds again last night. So they've got some power outages, lots of trees down, some homes damaged. Thankfully, I haven't heard anything about any kind of serious injuries, and certainly no fatalities, which is always good news when you have these kind of storms roll through your area. But we're going to get all this cleaned up, straightened up. And I know that we've gotten a lot of questions about the metal on the goat hut over there. Well, I'm going to explain that and then show you what else we've been doing this weekend. Now, I say that I'm going to explain it. I'm not going to go too in depth because there's a reason that we haven't done that metal yet. We did finally get it in. We had a few people ask about that, what was the holdup. We did receive the metal. We have the tin ready to go. But there is a reason that we haven't put that on there yet, and I can't tell you what that is. You're just going to have to wait. As long as they have shade and somewhere to get out of the weather, then the goats are fine. The cows are only going to be in there with them for a week, and then they're going back to where they have their pasture and full barn. So that doesn't really matter. But we do have a little bit more to come on that goat shelter and why we haven't put the metal on that yet. So that includes some of our other projects that we've done. Y'all know, if you've been with us a while, that the last few months we've been making a lot of changes to our farm. When we first started, we didn't want anything permanent. We wanted to rotate all of our animals and continue those regenerative processes. Well, through trial and error, we found where we can continue that to an extent, but in order to make it more secure, we're still going to have some permanent fencing, permanent structures, and just rotate the animals through those. So there may be times where some of that's not used, but in order to secure it, we've got to build more substantial stuff. And that's where we're at right now. Unfortunately, with the economy we're in and the inflation the way it is, the price of everything is just through the roof. And I'm fairly certain that most of these animals would rather have some shade over their heads and just something to get out of the rain than have a nice pretty barn and skip out on feed. So we're going to prioritize what we're doing, and that's taking care of our animals. So medical care, feed, things like that have to come first. And that's where we are. So while I work on this, let's take you to what we were doing earlier Saturday before all this damage occurred. It was a pretty day. I'm going to be real selective in how I edit this because a lot of what you're seeing has still got to be somewhat secret. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a peek. How about that?
There was two plays where you had a lane I could really bust through, and you turned it up into the defender instead of following and dropping.
Good job! Good job, Chance! Good job!
Guys, other than that, you're playing your butts off. You played a 5A team and beat them on defense. Now clean it up, and we go to the end zone. And we go in the end zone on defense. You hear me? I hope you got to see enough to know that we had a pretty good day. The boys got their first win of the season, just a jamboree game, but they still picked up the W, and I'm pretty sure that everybody was pretty pleased with their performance. Now we've got to continue on with our projects here and see if we can salvage some of this. And speaking of salvaging, let's see if we can salvage their shelter. Now, Chance, you don't need to drag that other side, buddy. It's being enough as it is. We need to pick up on both sides, and then I'll pull it over the fence. I think the frame is okay. It's not nearly as bad as the cow shelter got damaged that time. But we may or may not be able to save the tarp.
I think the tarp ends are okay. Got it?
Yeah.
Wait.
All right. Pick all the way up. Pick all the way up. You're stretching my wire back out. There we go. That way we can set it down easy.
I got it. If you want to move your arm.
Got it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Now, what I would like to do, we'll get all this tarp pulled over. What I'd like to do is move their shelter back down there and secure it to that fence. So we don't have to worry about that same issue again. It looks like just one side of the tarp ripped there. It's still connected to that one side.
Yeah, I think this side will be okay.
We can pull it back across and wire it on. Yeah. All right, we got it moved and got it repaired about as well as it can happen for today. I can tell you that my main goal for this farm is to not have any tarps on it. Now the chicken coop over there did all right during the storm, but I still don't like having tarps on stuff. But the wooden one right there that the American breasts were in, it's got to have some repair too. Fancy's under their shelter right now. Let's walk down here and see if we can get the boys back in to their area. Come on, boys. Come on. Come on. There you go. Y'all are getting easier and easier to move. They wanted to come see Fancy instead of nosing at her through the fence.
You sure are cute. You sure are cute. I got you wet. Hi. Come on and get some. You want some? Come on. Here. Want some? I will share with you. I will share your swimming pool. I will share it. I share you water. You said you tricked me. Shadow, you want some water? You want some? No, we're just going to eat the grass around the swimming pool. We're just going to eat around it.
Fancy, you may not want to be goat, but you are not alpaca.
Fancy, you're not an alpaca. She said she is just little alpaca.
But she don't want to be goat.
She does not want to be goat. But she cannot be tiny alpaca. I don't know. She probably liked hanging out over here. All the grazing she could do. Nobody bother her. I wonder if they would let her lay with them.
They haven't seemed to mind her so far.
Obie, you gonna take care of her? Shadow likes her.
Well, get out behind me, Stephanie, trying to get in my video. I hate temporary fixes, but it seems like we do more and more of that as it goes along, and I know that's part of farming, and you just got to do what you got to do. It still aggravates me.
It's discouraging sometimes.
One day, we're going to get rid of these tarps, guys.
One day we're going to look back at this video and go, whoo, I'm glad we ain't doing that no more.
And not having to fight these storms. Hey, if a tree blows down on something and tears it up, that's just is what it is. But at least we won't have shelters blowing across the pasture. And we had our pig hut that time that went about 300-400 feet. Guys, we appreciate you being with us, and we hope you'll like and subscribe to more of this.
Whatever it is that day.
See you next time on Chestnut Hills Farmstead.